Across my long-term dividend growth portfolio, I own tons of different dividend-paying ETFs that I would consider buy and hold forever positions. Now, buy and hold forever positions, in my opinion, are different stocks or ETFs that you buy with the intention of holding onto forever. And although there's some positions in my portfolio that I would consider buy and hold forever, there's also some in this portfolio that I'm going to switch out over the up and coming years. But in this video specifically, I'm going to share with you 5 of my favorite dividend-paying ETFs that I also happen to think could get dividend investors richer a lot quicker. Now, if you're a dividend investor looking to build a portfolio long-term, make sure to stick around, drop a like down below, and let's get right into the first name. Real quick, for those that haven't already, make sure to go to the first link in my description and grab my new dividend investing ebook, where I share exactly how I went from $0 invested to now earning over $6,000 on a monthly basis and over $1 million invested in the markets. Along with the ebook, you're also going to receive my custom dividend tracker, where you can track your dividend progress on an ongoing basis and reach your dividend investing goals. So make sure to grab yourself a copy of my dividend investing ebook and the new dividend tracker today. It's the first link in my description. So the first dividend paying ETF that I would consider a buy and hold forever position is ticker symbol DIVO, or the Amplify CWP Enhanced Dividend Income ETF, which I currently own around 1,476 shares of as of filming this video. Now, DIVO came across my radar several years ago, and this ETF pretty much offers everything I'm looking for. DIVO has the potential to keep growing long-term in my opinion, as it's done so in the past as far as price return. But also, DIVO has a pretty concentrated small basket of holdings, around 42 as of right now to be exact, but also utilizes a cover call overlay to generate more dividend income for investors from different names that might not always generate the most dividend income off the bat. Now, I said that DIVO pretty much offers everything that I'm looking for as a dividend growth investor because, like I said, DIVO definitely has the potential to keep growing over time, but also on top of that, if you buy into DIVO, you're getting a starting yield of around 4.5, 4.6%, which is not bad whatsoever, especially like I talked about, having the exposure to the holdings within DIVO. Now, DIVO has paid monthly dividends consistently, and for every single share of DIVO that I currently have in my portfolio, I'm pretty much more or less guaranteed to get my 14 or 15 cents monthly payout per share, which I've received for several years now. So if you're a dividend investor that wants some growth potential, but also wants consistent income, which in my opinion is sort of the best of both worlds, check out DIVO if you haven't already. The next dividend paying ETF that I would consider a buy and hold forever position in my long-term portfolio are my 1,248 shares of jepi, the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF, which I've held for several years now and was starting to feel like forever. Now, jepi is sort of one of the OG cover call style ETF funds. And what I like about jepi is the fact that jepi has the potential to grow slow and steady over time, but all along while jepi, because of the cover call option income strategy overlay, jepi has the potential to pay a ton of dividends along the way. Now, jepi gives you exposure to some of the best companies in the world, of course, although you're probably not going to get exposed to a ton of upside when it comes to jepi because, of course, the cover call overlay. But jepi's dividends over the year have been pretty significant. There's times where jepi pays around 8% trailing 12 month, and times where jepi's paid over 12% trailing 12 month. As of right now, we're closer to 8. But even still, over the years, jepi's been a staple in my portfolio, not necessarily my favorite stock or ETF, but a consistent asset that's paid me monthly every single month and that I'm going to hold on to most likely forever. The next buy and hold forever ETF in my portfolio would have to be jepi's brother, or jepi's sister, of course, my 508 shares of the JP Morgan Nasdaq Equity Premium Income ETF, JEPQ. Now, what I've grown to really like about JEPQ over the years is probably exactly what all of you guys also have grown to love about JEPQ, especially if you hold on to this one. The fact that JEPQ gives you exposure that's similar to that strategy of jepi or any other cover call style ETF, but because of JEPQ's holdings, because JEPQ has so much exposure to technology, this option income style ETF, even with the cover call overlay, has grown significantly. For example, up almost 19% over the last year, all while paying dividends monthly to investors like myself, which are somewhere around the 8 to 10% yield on a trailing 12 months. Now, I get it, there's some growth style ETFs out there that have much more growth potential than that of JEPQ. And there's also some ETFs out there that pay much more income than JEPQ. But what I like about JEPQ is that you really get a taste on the higher end of things on both sides. You're getting more or less close to a 10% yield trailing 12 months, but you're also getting exposure to some growth potential. All in all, as far as a income focused, but also slightly a growth focused ETF as of now, JEPQ is one of my favorites and an ETF that I'm going to be holding on to most likely forever. My next buy and hold forever position, one of my favorites, if not my favorite ETF across the entire market as of right now, is my 604 shares of the SCHD ETF, or the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF. Now, SCHD is one of the most popular dividend growth style ETFs across the entire market, especially across the dividend investing community, and for good reason in my opinion. The ETF is super cheap to hold on to with a very cheap 0.06% expense ratio. The ETF has grown more and more over the years. The holding breakdown is well diversified and the strategy is very bulletproof. But on top of that, SCHD offers a decent starting yield at around 3.6% as of right now. But on top of that, my absolute favorite part of SCHD is the fact that this ETF, at least over time, you already know what I'm going to say, has paid more and more in dividends consistently year after year after year. Now, my plan with SCHD as of right now, as you can see, I have over 600 shares of the ETF. And if I keep buying shares consistently over the next year, hopefully I'll end up with close to 1,000 shares that, let's say, are going to pay me 60 cents quarterly, hopefully next year 65 cents quarterly, hopefully after that, and hopefully years and years from now, I'm going to be getting paid $1, $2, $3 quarterly per share that I own. Now, out of all the ETFs that we're going to go through in this video, this is probably the easiest buy and hold forever position in my portfolio. Every single share of SCHD that I purchase feels like a share that I'm locking away with the key and throwing away the key. Now, even though this ETF isn't necessarily the best dividend growth ETF across the entire market for several reasons, I seem to think that it's definitely up there with the crew and going to be a position that I'm going to be growing out extensively over the next, say, 7 or so months. Now, the last final buy and hold forever position in my dividend growth portfolio, and one of the best high quality dividend growth ETFs across the entire market, in my opinion, is my brand new tiny position, 2 shares of DGRW, or the Wisdom Tree US Quality Dividend Growth Fund. Now, DGRW, in my opinion, offers very similar aspects of that of SCHD and other dividend growth ETFs, only this ETF sort of does everything a little bit better. Besides the fact that this ETF has a pretty expensive expense ratio, compared to other ETFs sort of within this sort of category, DGRW has grown significantly over the past, say, 11 or so years, up almost 200%. But my favorite part about DGRW specifically is the holding breakdown. DGRW has a perfect mix of different stocks that have the potential to grow over time, which of course is going to have the ETF price move up and also have your net worth move up. But also within these holdings, there's different names in here that of course all pay dividends, but also pay more and more in dividends over time. So just like SCHD, you're not necessarily investing into DGRW for instant gratification. You're buying shares of DGRW today to really benefit off of it later on in the future. On top of that, this ETF does pay a dividend monthly. So for monthly focused, dividend income focused investors that want to use dividends for cash flow in the future, like myself, this is also going to be a positive. As far as dividend growth goes for DGRW, not the fastest dividend growth across the entire market, although as you can see over the last 10 years, the dividends have been getting bigger consistently. All in all, my plan with DGRW is to grow this as my next large dividend growth single position, and this is after this year, once I fulfill my 1,000 shares of SCHD, which is the goal this year. And all in all, for my strategy specifically, DGRW crosses off basically everything I'm looking for, and I honestly cannot wait to start building out this position later on, late this year or early next year. So there we have it, 5 different dividend paying ETFs that I would consider personally buy and hold forever positions, at least in my portfolio. Now, out of every single dividend paying ETF that we went through in this video, I want to hear from you guys down below. Which is your all-out favorite dividend paying ETF? Out of the 5 that we talked about, which is your all-time favorite? Drop the ticker symbol in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like on it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.